Didn't have a bad back, this would be easy. We're getting there. Hello.
Come back.
We're about to start the show. This is Dr. Peter Harries.
How do you do? How do you do?
He's a legend here in WA.
A legend.
Channel 9ers Club. Where's the bloody T-shirt?
I was going to put it on afterwards.
Put it on for the show. You had a look at these letters?
I have indeed, yeah.
Okay, first one's about a gross case of chasing pussy on the public purse.
Well, most disturbing, I find that. I didn't even know what chasing pussy meant. I'd ask one of my granddaughters. The stuff you get on the internet these days, it's hardly pussy, is it? It's more clammy or something.
It's going to be that sort of show. Second letter tonight. My wonderful mummy's boy of a fiancé would prefer to stay at home until we married. Did you do that?
Yeah, I did.
Did
I
you?
brought my wife home too. Yeah.
And the last one tonight. I'm 51. I've just met a sweet man, 12 years my junior. Good or bad?
Oh, that's terrific. Yeah, get hold of him. Don't let him go. It might be your last opportunity.
Oh, there's a terrific lineup of... Hang on, where am I? Over here. A terrific lineup all in about 10 seconds.
Is
Don't
this
go away.
supposed to be serious?
No, no.
Got a problem, big or small, would a miracle be nice? Our motley crew is back, churning out advice. You might even laugh a bit in the following half hour. Park your backside on the couch, cause baby it's time for Sweet and Sour. Right here on Sweet and Sour.
Pour some sugar on there, baby.
It's time for Sweet and Sour.
How's about some chili?
It's time for Sweet
Bit of deja vu. Welcome to Sweet and Sour. Lovely to have your company. Gary Mitchell with you for the next half an hour and a terrific lineup of panellists. A bloke who hasn't been on the panel for a while. It's great to have you back, Jamie.
A long time, Gary.
How long?
Last time I was here, I was actually hosting because you were on holidays.
Oh, geez, I
That's
haven't
how
taken
far back.
holidays for years. What year was that? 1980?
It was last millennium.
He's the busiest musician in Perth. When would you be able to get him?
True,
Night off.
Not anymore.
true. How are the gigs?
Good. We're celebrating our 25th anniversary next year, which is going to be a great
Slim
achievement.
Jim and the Fats.
25 years of nonsense.
Wow.
How's that? You know what I mean? You'd think I would have learned something better to do with all my spare time. No, but it's good. It's been great. It's been a great trip.
Good on you, Jamie. Good to have you back too, mate.
Good to be here.
Nettie.
Hello. My best ball, 1991 Warwick High School, Slim Jim and the Fats.
Mate.
Mate, we had to sell thousands of lamingtons to afford these guys. And every school
so you made the
around
Lamington budget?
Oh, mate, we did. But we did bottle drives, we did car
Incredible.
washing, and all the other high schools around me were spewing because we got Slim Jim.
How the secret was Lamingtons.
Oh, I tell you.
I love Lamingtons.
Use
Love
that in your
Lamingtons.
publicity.
Good
Good on you, Nettie. Welcome back. Hello, Suzie Hunt.
Hello, how are you?
Rottnest Island.
Oh no.
Are we allowed to talk about Rottnest Island now that you sit on the board?
I can say that it's a fantastic holiday for West Australians.
It is.
It's really reasonably
Fantastic.
priced and it's not Bali.
And it's not Bali.
Yes, thanks,
I
Bali.
love Rotta.
It's not Bali, it's not. No,
I
it is a good
absolutely love
holiday.
Rotta. There
And
are-
the new hotel will be fantastic.
You need some tweaking though.
Oh yeah,
But I
we're
love
working
Rotta.
on it.
I've been going
You
there
know.
since I was 4, so that's,
Yeah,
50
so-
years.
It's actually, while I'm talking about Rottnest, next year is a fantastic year for people to visit.
Because?
It's 100 years of tourism on the island, and there's a number of
I
celebrations.
want you to
First
tell
opened.
me, when you come back, about those 220-year-old olive trees
Okay.
that are on the main street.
Okay.
All right?
In fact, your relative's opening it. The governor
Which
is
one?
opening. Is he related to you? The governor of West Australia is actually
now.
opening
Great.
the tourism, the new. The 100
When?
years
When?
on the 9th of December, and he's actually opening at the governor's residence, which is also opening in the new hotel, which has just been done up.
Which is the governor's
Yes, it was the
residence.
governor's residence.
I remember,
So,
I remember.
Yeah.
Terrific. Tell us more about it when you come on next
Yes,
time, all right?
I will.
And a bloke I'm delighted to have on. You saw him at the start of the show. He's now wearing the blue windsheeter. How old is it, Dr. Peter Harries? And welcome to the show again.
1966.
1966.
Friends, we will always be sharing the fair and the dark, stormy weather. We'll stand or we'll fall together. We're tried and true, and we'll stick like glue.
God, I wish
in
I
good
could remember
times
this
and
show.
bad times, in happy or sad times, we're friends.
Wow.
Dr. Peter Harries, ladies and gentlemen.
It's a long time ago. It's a long time ago.
My brother was one of those chaps who happened to be king for a day on your
Happy
show.
Smiler.
Happy Smiler. he
Yes,
was.
I
Yeah, yeah.
remember those children so well.
And it's been so long he's got no teeth left.
Well, your brother's got no teeth.
Beautiful teeth.
Peter's got good teeth. My brother I was talking about. Good to have you on the show, Pete.
Oh, it's wonderful to be here.
Have you had a look at some of the letters?
Have you washed this? Since 1966?
Was it a smell?
Well, I don't know. It's staying together. It's sort of.
I'm a hoarder. I keep things. I look after them with assiduity.
Oh, big words too.
Is that a washing fabric softener?
I don't know. That's the word I learnt for today. And another one's called mellifluous. I don't know what that means.
That's a good word.
Yeah, they're both gone. Oh, damn. Darn.
We ready over there? Here
I'm
we go.
ready.
Hello, panellists. Can you believe some dude working for the Immigration Department sent 7,000 emails to his fellow colleagues around the nation looking for some acquaintance that he briefly met at a party? Did you hear about this?
No, I didn't. And that was my question.
Did you hear
I
about
haven't
this?
heard it.
Did you hear about this?
Absolutely.
No, I didn't, but somebody told me.
All right. As far as I'm concerned, that's just a gross case of chasing pussy on the public purse.
What? Oh, yeah, back.
What a spoiled, indulgent brat of a thing to do. I can tell you now, easy come, easy go. After finding this woman of his dreams, or should I say wild imaginings, because he's done no work to woo her, he's not going to get too far. It's so easy to spam 7,000 work colleagues. One email and the work's done. It's not even romantic. It's undignified and cheap. Not only should he be sacked for thinking that his sexual gratification has a greater priority than the maintenance of departmental standards, but every woman on the face of the planet should feel utter disdain for the slackness and arrogance this email opportunist has displayed towards all females. He's nothing but a cheap, dumb dude. For the sake of everything that is priceless in the realm of romance, panellists, please condemn this cheap, dumb dude. Michelle of Kew in Victoria. Jamie, have you ever followed your heart to that degree?
I have, but I don't think I sent an email out to 7,000 people. I don't think I'd be that sort of bold. But I agree with Michelle. I think there is something very strange, even a little bit creepy, about sending an email to 7,000 departmental colleagues about a girl that you briefly met at a function. Something very strange about it. And it seems that the man behind these emails, Steve Tucker, was very taken with Olivia Nasser, her name is, and rightly so, because she's a very beautiful woman. I saw a photograph in the Sunday Times yesterday. She's a beautiful looking girl, but that still doesn't really make it right. But from recent reports, I mean, Olivia has no idea who Steve Tucker is, which is quite strange.
Have they met since?
She can't even remember
She
him.
didn't even recall
Really?
him.
She's got no recollection of actually meeting him at the function at all.
Oh, that's creepy.
That is a bit
That's
strange,
really
isn't it?
creepy.
Saw her across
Yeah.
the room and thought, who's this bird?
Yeah, I would imagine that a young beautiful woman would be very anxious that in the knowledge that 7,000 emails, people have received emails about this situation.
And also that she's in the Sunday Times.
Well, yeah, and that she didn't have much of a say in that, and she actually refused to be interviewed on the telephone. In my opinion, it's definitely a form of harassment and an intrusion of Olivia's privacy. Although Steve did not lose his job due to the emails, I believe
He didn't?
He didn't, but he has been reprimanded by the
should've.
departmental seniors, which is good. Obviously, Steve should have gone about his inquiries with a little bit more consideration for Olivia's feelings, and I possibly think that maybe Steve should have tried a different tack, like flowers have been good to start with, maybe chocolate, sending chocolate. Chocolate's a great winner with girls, I think.
Yeah.
Do you feel
Chocolate,
that?
Ned.
Chocolate's
Flower.
good.
Nettie, chocolate's good for you?
I'll be really quick. You've said he's cheap, and then you said he's using the public purse. He's not, I mean...
He is. He's sitting there at company time.
No, but you've said, and all he's done is send one email. It doesn't, well, you're a moron, because it doesn't cost anything to send an email, first of all.
You would
he's
jam.
But
You would
look,
hang on.
sometimes love
How
is
much work
toxic.
time? How much-
Sometimes you just can't think straight.
That's not the department's
I don't know
fault.
why everybody, I mean, look, if you read it, you go, oh, no, I don't know it, delete. Idiot.
How much time does it take to read and then delete? How
Easy,
much time?
10 seconds.
Oh, for
It's
God's
all-
sake.
How
just
much does it
skim
cost
the
the
main
department?
points and press
Have you
delete.
ever worked in government?
Of course I have.
Well, when you work in government, I mean,
Anything
so,
exciting.
seriously,
What?
you're
What are
sending.
you gonna-
you're
what are you gonna
sending
say
emails.
Well, you have to
government
find something
workers.
to do on a daily basis.
No,
What are you
I
gonna
was
say?
a government worker.
So was
the thing
I.
is, we all send emails. Most people actually meet
Did
their
you ever
future
send
partner.
7,000?
No, but most people
Did you
meet
ever
their
jam up the system?
Most people meet their future partner at work. I mean, I have to say, I didn't know the story, and I feel it's a bit creepier than when I first thought it, because I didn't know it. But I thought, well, you know what? It's a bit sad that he has to do this, but maybe he really had this real connection with this girl. But the
But he
sad thing
didn't.
is that she didn't
doesn't
know
even
him, and
remember.
that's
You're making
Yeah,
it
but
so sad.
7,000 emails, Suzie. That's just stretching
Well,
it.
Sometimes love just sends you cookies.
Maybe
Yeah.
7,000, 10 maybe,
Yeah.
12 on the outside for friends in the
but
department.
what he
Listen,
said-
I would have got rid of him.
But hold on,
Sack
is
him.
7,000 true? Is the press correct there? Because if he was at a function and it was, say he's in Sydney, I don't know where he is, and he
Canberra.
sends it
He's
to...
actually in Canberra.
Okay, he sends it to the, you know, the 500 people at the party in
Yeah.
his department, why would he send it to 7,000? Is
Because
that
he's
true?
an idiot. That's
but is
another
that
reason
true?
to get rid of him.
I don't
Suzie,
re-
let's be
Last
honest.
word, Dr. Peter Harries.
I would say only this, that you're very unkind, Michelle, and haven't you heard of true romance? Don't you remember? Some enchanted evening, you will see a stranger across a crowded room, and that's what happened to this poor maniac. And he starts to behave in this fashion, but that's only because he wants to procreate and do his best for Australia.
On the government purse. Terrific. When we come back, we're not going to be talking to Michelle of Q anymore. We're going to be talking about whether you should move in before you get married. When we come back, don't go away. Welcome back to Sweet and Sour. If you would like to send us a letter, send it to the address that's appearing on your screen right now, which is letters@sweetandsour.net.au. And for every letter that lands here and we decide we're going to discuss it, we're going to send you to the movies, courtesy of the very cute Natalie Cameron and NRC Communications. And Natty gets married this week.
She's very cute, isn't she?
This week. She's gorgeous. She's
Natty
a
and I
gorgeous
used to
kid.
share an office in Subiaco for many years.
Did you really?
Yeah, absolutely. She's a great guy.
Does that mean you didn't crack an invite to the wedding?
No, I didn't get an invite. It was a long time ago.
You just shared an office.
Shared an
All
office.
right.
That's good.
Here we go. Letter number 2. Hello, Mitch and panellists. He's a bit of a mummy's boy, but I love him. And I love him loving his mum because she's such a gorgeous woman. At 27, he still lives at home with his parents and his mum dotes on him. I'm fine with all of that, and I should mention that his dad's also great. We've been engaged for 3 months, and I thought it would be a smart idea if we moved in together. Well, my friends are completely divided on the issue. Many are telling me that he's a mummy's boy and I won't want him once we live together. Others, who are just a little traditionally minded, are anti-living together and suggest without commitment, it's just a licence for guys to get everything without giving much back. Then another group says, forget planning a marriage, just live together. My wonderful mummy's boy of a fiancé would prefer to stay at home until we're married, but he says that I can make that decision for the two of us. I haven't moved in any direction yet, and I'm almost paralysed to make a decision either way, so I'd appreciate a little bit of guidance in this matter. Should I move in or just start planning a wedding and deal with adjusting to one another after the honeymoon? It comes to us from Marissa of Launceston in Tasmania. We're going straight to Suzie first.
Well-
Tasmania. Oh, he probably lives next door anyway.
Oh, man.
Sorry, I love Princess
Look,
Mary.
I have to say, I read this, and then it was when I got to, he says I can make the decision
I
for
know,
two of us,
yeah.
and I feel almost paralysed that I had to stop myself.
Why?
Because I just think that is so sad. That's not a decision that one person makes, that's a decision made together. But I have 3 sons, and they are divine, and I hope they stay mummy's boys, and I hope that they have a girlfriend one day who actually likes me, because how many times do they hate their mother-in-law? And I really struggle with that. But they also say that if you date somebody who loves their mother, then they will be fantastic men to be with. They're really respectful of women, so they're, you know. I also used to say that my nana, which, much to my mother's horror, used to say to me when I was about in my 20s, you wouldn't buy a bed without lying in it first. So go off and have some sex.
Your nana?
My nana, and my mum was just disgusted with that. But it's true, and I actually really think that you should just go and give it a go.
Peter, give it a go or
You know.
not give it a go?
I was a bit worried about the fact I wondered which century this person was living in. And I've read books that, I've read books that are shorter than that letter you've just read out. But then I heard it was Tasmania. I thought, oh, well, that explains the whole thing. But I'm not against Tasmania because my great-grandparents came from Longford near Launceston, same place. So it's probably where I got some of my stupidity from. But this business about being a mummy's boy and wanting to get everything, now if you mean wanting to get everything like his dirty socks and underwear and shirts and all that wash, well, he probably will want to get that. And the whole thing depends on 3 things: whether he's been at it before, being a mummy's boy, he mightn't have been at it yet, whether she's
What do
been
you mean, what do you
at
mean
it,
at it?
you know.
Oh, having sex?
Well, I don't like to use that term. And getting back to the last question, he was talking about chasing pussy, and I when I found out, because they let us know what the subject might be about last week, and I Googled pussy on the thing, and it came up with all this stuff, and one thing said shaved pussy, and
Can you see?
and
Get a
that's
close up of that.
and that's what.
So that's what the mummy's boy can find
You're a
on the
shocker.
net.
No, anyway, but if he's been at it, okay. If she's been at it, okay. If they've both been at it, well, it doesn't really matter, does it? But I do think I
I
agree.
think you might be losing me.
No, I think I agree with you that they should have a little bit of a go at it before it
I'm going to
happens.
bring
Yes,
Nettie in.
definitely.
But sexual congress is not the most important thing in marriage, and besides that, there is
Luckily.
a diet that happens after you get married, a food item that turns brides off sex completely. It's called wedding cake.
Come on, Nettie.
Okay, moving together definitely. I'm being serious now. Do not plan the wedding, because what's going to happen is you are going to romanticize the wedding and not take it into consideration whether you guys get along. Move in, don't plan a thing, don't book a date, don't look at bridesmaids' dresses, nothing, don't look at Perth bridal, nothing, until you go, okay, can I marry this guy? And it's nice that he's a mummy's boy. He loves women, he respects women, whatever.
Jamie, last word on this quick one.
Yeah, I'm probably the worst person to comment on this because
Why is that?
I
You are
stayed
a
at home
mum's
until
boy? Oh,
I
shit.
stayed at home until my early 30s, so it's not a good situation. I did.
I'd still live with my
I had a
mum if
couple of
she'd have
occasions
me.
where I moved out of home, but it was very unsuccessful, so I ended up
Really?
going. I did. You know, my mother.
Why'd you bring girls?
Don't tell me your mother was still doing your washing. in
My
your early
washing,
30s.
my ironing. She even made my bed in the morning if I
Oh,
didn't
that
do
is
it.
disgusting.
Unbelievable.
Wonderful woman.
And she
wonderful.
cooked.
What did your girlfriend say?
I'm moving into
My
your
girlfriend's
Real
mistake because they weren't doing my washing, my ironing. It was great. Anyway, but
Do
you
you
know,
expect your wife to do that when you first got married?
when I first, yeah, I did. Unfortunately, and I've been,
did she?
I've been,
And you
I've been,
beat
I have
Harry.
been reprogrammed,
Yes,
successfully
exactly.
reprogrammed.
Very well done.
We actually pay for someone to come and do the washing and the ironing, and it's another story. But listen, I'm a bit like Suzie. I mean, you wouldn't buy a car without a test drive.
Yeah.
Let's think about that.
Yep.
And also, by moving in together, you'll probably save a fortune in not having to pay for a hotel room, or alternatively, you'll save your car suspension over 12 months.
Terrific.
Yeah, don't come and knocking if these things are rocking.
That's exactly right.
When we come back, we're going to be talking about finding love at 51. Don't go away. More of Sweet and Sour after this.
Please do not try this at home. These people are paid professionals at making up biased and controversial opinions. Sweet and sour!
I can't remember.
Welcome back to Sweet and Sour, straight
That's
into
right.
the letter D of Sweet and Sour panel. I'm 51 and I've met a sweet man 12 years my junior. I've been seeing him now for around 3 months or so, and he wants to move in with me. My 75-year-old mum, who lives with me and the animals, 3 dogs, 3 cats and a budgie, isn't happy about it at all. She thinks he's a freeloader. That's because I made the mistake of telling her that he's had periods of homelessness and living out of his car after his wife booted him out of the house a few years ago. I know it's not the best start for a couple, but do you think I could be being foolish? I don't feel as if I'm the one, as if I am. And where am I? I don't feel as if I am as no one has ever. I don't feel I am as no one has ever shown me such love and concern before. Goodness me, I'm glad we got that out. Why should I give it up now? What's the worst that could happen here? And it comes to us from Susanna of Lower Templestowe, Victoria. Nettie, straight to you.
Okay, this is the litmus test. If he's got a job and he wants to move in, then fine, okay? It doesn't say here. If he doesn't have a job and wants to move in, then don't, because you will come to hate the fact that he does not contribute to the house and to society and all that kind of thing. And the other thing is, after 2 years of living together, you're officially de facto and he can take you for half of
It's
everything.
actually 6 months.
Shit, 6
6
months.
months.
6 months, and then you've
That
got
was my
your
point.
house, and you and your mum are living in a caravan
That's the
park in
worst that can
Monterey.
happen
6
to you.
months, it
Although
can
at
take the
Templeston.
50%.
Jamie, is there
There you
anything
go.
worse
6
than
months to
that?
a year, depending
Yeah,
on
well,
how they're living.
I don't know if I could be in a relationship or married or in a relationship with somebody and living with my mother. I reckon that'd put me off sex permanently. It'd be the greatest form of contraception ever known to man,
But then when you're
mankind. No, I know, but it just seems a bit strange, you know. I'll certainly fix the bedhead by the morning. And I've got to say, love is blind, but you should open your eyes about this because, I mean, independence in a relationship between the two parties is pretty important. I think if you're independent and you can make decisions that are balanced for both parties, I think that's great. But it seems to me that one person is quite secure with their mother, and the other person isn't, and requires accommodation of some capacity, but it just seems a little bit too wrought with disaster
And
somehow.
when you hear of a guy suggesting that he should move in, that just never happens, does it?
No,
usually the
it's not
girl.
normally.
Particularly
Yeah.
a younger guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Peter, your take on this one?
When I lived in King's Cross in the 1950s, 50s I said, my mentor, Hollywood Jack, said to me, when you die and get to heaven, there's a big blackboard with your name on it, and everyone you have is written on the board. And everyone you don't have is not on the board, and you never make it up. So I say to this 51-year-old lady, grab him and get as many in as you can before the 6-month term finishes, and make sure that at the end of 5 months and 3 weeks that you get rid of him. But watch out for Mum too, because there's a
She
few
might be there.
75-year-old women I know that haven't lost their memory a bit about a bit of the old horizontal tango, I'll tell you that.
Last word, Susie.
Oh,
Wrap it
look.
up for us.
I just think you have to protect yourself financially, and do you know what? Why can't you just continue on having this relationship without him living with you? And you should know better at 51. You do not believe every man who says that their wife was a bitch and booted you out. You actually got to say, hold on a minute, maybe find out, does he have any friends or family you can find
Slow it
out
down a
about
little.
him? Just wait, maybe Google him, that's another way, just to see. Because you just don't know who he is.
He's moving into a car, moving in his car
Yeah,
with
it's
his
sort
wife,
of-
but he's out of home because he's got no job.
No, but if he was,
He's got no
He's
money
out
to
of
obviously.
home.
well,
live
but you
somewhere.
have a settlement, and so the settlement
Something's
you'd
going
get
on.
something. There's something a
Little
bit
bit
weird
odd.
about it.
Bloke
So I
wanting
feel
to move in with your 75-year-old
But I
mum.
second, I feel so sorry for her. She's feeling fantastic, and there's so many guys that go around and trap these women and
But
bleed them
Susie,
dry.
you're right. And also, she's living, at 51, she's living with a 75-year-old mother.
Who's telling her what to do?
But hang on, there's a lot of wisdom sometimes with 75-year-old people that
Yeah,
they
it's
should
true.
take notice of. She's not just trying to sort of betray her daughter
Yeah, I know.
having a good time, I'm
So
sure.
sad.
I think it's more the fact that she's worried about her long-term security.
Panel?
And maybe old eyes will see
Oh,
things
I
that we
think
don't.
so. I think
Shall
so.
we give away the pair of limited edition sunnies to Susanna of Lower
Yes.
Templestone,
I totally
Victoria,
agree.
for all of her
But
troubles?
keep your glasses.
Yes, I
Yes,
think
Susanna.
Susanna deserves it.
Yes,
I like
Susanna.
Susanna.
Don't leave him in
Coming
his
out
car.
to you,
Yeah,
a pair
yeah.
of limited edition
Rose-coloured
sunglasses,
glasses.
courtesy rose-coloured glasses.
She doesn't need those.
Courtesy of Alan Trees and Aussie Opticals. We've got to go. Jamie, terrific to have you back.
Lovely being back.
We'll see you again soon.
I
then.
hope so, Gary.
All right, mate, we'll stay in contact this time. All right, good on you. You might be in this chair next time.
Oh
I
my
hope not.
God.
Quite happy here.
Natty, good to see you.
Good to see you.
See you
too.
soon.
See you soon.
And Susie Hunt.
Sorry, hello.
What's going on next to
I
you,
don't know.
Susie Hunt?
Oh,
Righto, we want
Pete's hormones have kicked in again.
Yes.
Were you always a blonde?
Oh, yeah, I was a blonde when I was a kid. Look at that. It's pure blonde. What's in my trick? Look.
You were blonde. We don't
attached? Oh, yeah,
do
it is.
alcohol left on this show. We've
It's
got to go.
extensions.
Thank you, our wonderful panellists.
I like to shave
Thank
my
our
teeth
terrific
tomorrow.
crew. Thank Dr. Peter Harries.
I love that.
And
Thank
thanks
you
for
very
having us at home tonight, Australia. Good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Good night.